I got my policy when I was 24 years old, and $1 million policy. That policy I got. I don't have kids. I'm not married, any of that. But I got that policy specifically for my family because I'm like, I know I'm going to be a millionaire, but just in case something were to happen on my way, I want to make sure that my family is good. Got that policy when I was 24, and then a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So at that point in time, I'm like, oh shoot, I was super devastated. But then I'm like, oh, well, my policy, it has living benefits. And with living benefits, it covers an event of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. So talking about heart attacks, strokes, cancers, end-of-stage renal failure, major organ transplant, ALS, blindness due to diabetes or paralysis, a couple of other things. And then if you get into a situation where you need help dressing, bathing, eating, toileting, or transferring for a period of 90 consecutive days, you can also benefit from your policy.
We think about people like even Steve Jobs, Virgil Abloh, the guy from the Black Panther. Super silent about things that they were going through. Yeah. And then unfortunately, like, they passed away, but you can understand why they probably didn't want people to know because probably of a similar type of, experience. How do you know how much life insurance somebody needs? Like, how you properly assess exactly how much coverage you need is through the DIME theory. So DIME is an acronym, DIME. D stands for debt and death. Okay, I stands for income replacement, M stands for mortgage, and then E stands for education. So when we sit down and we actually do the numbers on this, we understand that the average funeral costs anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. But I like to put inflation in there because we don't want anything to happen now. Cross our fingers. So we can put it up to $20,000, whatever the case may be, just depending on how lavish you want to go out. So right now, unfortunately, we see a lot of GoFundMes. We see a lot of fish fries, and it's just too common in our community. So I feel like it's just a lot of education that we're missing, but I'm glad you're out here educating people and you're letting them know, like, hey, it's different options to life insurance.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Okay.
All right, cool. So welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. Listen, my name is Cody Brown, and I got my co-host with me today.
Yes, we back with another episode, bro, and like I always say, we always bring quality guests on, so I'm really excited for this one, bro.
Yes, sir. So listen, this is gonna be a good conversation because just before starting the podcast, it was actually really, really good. And we got the opportunity to meet Brianna Kayla. Brianna Kayla is from Chicago?
Yes.
Chicago area. She flew into New York to show the podcast some love. So Brianna, just go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. And let them know. Let them know why they need to listen to this pod.
All right. Well, first of all, you need to listen to it because it's all about motion and success, and that's all we're going to talk about. Yep. So let's get into it. So, yes, my name is Brianna Johnson, but you can call me Brianna Kayla. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised in Chicago, so the Windy City, and it feels really, really good to be back in the Big Apple. This is my third time this year being here, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So to be here with you guys is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for having me. And right now, currently, I'm in the financial service space. So I have a company called Legend Life Financial. So with Legend Life, I educate solopreneurs, freelancers, and middle-class Americans on the importance of having life insurance, specifically with living benefits. And the reason why I call my company Legend, because you can become a legend for your family. You don't necessarily have to be a LeBron or a Michael Jackson. Like, you can literally become a legend for your family, and they'll put you on in the living room for generations to come if you properly prepare your family for success, which is basic financial principles and implementing those things. So I've been doing that for over 10 years, 11 years to be specific, and I'm here today. The journey has been, amazing. I've overcome some crazy hurdles, but I wouldn't change it for the world, and my why just has gotten bigger over the past year and a half, and I just want to empower and help more people across the nation.
That's what's up. And that's a really dope backstory, that led you to the finance field, And I did my research, and I watched a podcast you had done, and you said that you've been working since you were 13?
Yes. Was it 13 or 14? One of the two, yes.
That's crazy. Was that even legal?
If you got your working papers, yeah.
Because, well, you know, like, I a little bit about that. My mother and father, they went through a divorce when I was in 6th grade. And when I say I was crushed, I was crushed, and I was the oldest of 3 at that point in time. So we literally we were living in this huge home. My dad was working. My mom never had to work. We would vacation, and things just like crumbled right before my eyes. So when I had to go to a new school and we moved in with my grandmother, me, my brother, and my mom, literally living in like one of my grandmother's rooms in her 4-bedroom house. I immediately was like, you know what, I need to hide my pain. How can I hide my pain? So that's when I like start getting into fashion and dressing, because I didn't want people to look at me like, oh, she's distraught, she's broken. I didn't want them to like get it, like really see what I was going through. So that pushed me to like want to start working immediately as soon as I could. So I was a freshman when I first started working, and I was working in the fashion industry, well, retail at that point, and I got the job. I lied about my age, and some of the people that I was going to school with, they like, you supposed to be 16 years old before you start working. Like, they literally called up to my job and was like, she's only woo woo woo. So my mom, she helped me finesse a little bit. I never forget my mom. She a rider that she like literally cut up my birth certificate, copy pasted, turned it in, and they was not gonna fire me because I was the best salesperson. So it's like they didn't want to let me go, but they just had to cross their T's, dot their I's, wink wink, whatever. So we man, that's when it really began for me as far as like being in the fashion industry at that age, when I was a freshman.
Now that's crazy. Yeah. And then to be the best salesperson at 13.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. That is wild.
I feel like it's more easier when you're a child to sell something too.
Really?
Like,
rejection.
Or better yet, put it like this. I remember one time I was standing outside the store. It was probably like 3 kids just walking. They had like a box of cookies. They was like, "Sir, did you mind like buying some cookies?" I'm like, shit.
Oh yeah,
I don't want no cookies.
You gonna have that.
You know, so it's like, all right, cool. You know what? Let me run to the ATM if I have to. Let me get some cash back at the store, and I give you it. You know what? I don't even want the cookies. Get it to somebody for free. You know? So that's where it comes from me. Like, all right, cool. It's more easier, you know?
I don't know. My drive was different because my mom, she told me, I'll never forget. She was like, okay, Bree, I can no longer buy you J-Lo and FUBU anymore. So
we got,
it was popping. And I was like, what you mean? You can't buy me this stuff no more. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to go get a job. So I got the job just so I can, you know, continue to buy things and support myself. And that's when I figured out like, hey, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur one day. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I used to see like the sales reps come into the store. And I'm like, you know what? I actually want to do what they do. So fast forward a little bit. I went to college for 2 seconds. And I was like, I don't think I need to go to college to actually own a clothing store and a hair salon, because I have a lot of experience. And at that point in time, I was interning with Kimora at Baby Fat. So I was like flying around, going to Magic, which is a trade show in Vegas every year. And I'm like, why am I in school? Dropped out. And then a couple years later, I opened up 2 clothing stores and 2 hair salons. And then I got my clothing stores and hair salons, and what I quickly noticed was that, okay, this is cool, but like I was telling you before the show, like I'm into the cash flow quadrant. So I was transitioning from being an employee to now, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, but I don't have the freedom that I thought I would have, because I'm still showing up trading my time for $1. So how do I transition to business owner? I thought once I became an entrepreneur, I was a business owner. No. No. So at that point in time, I'm like, you know what? I need to do something different so that my future self will thank my younger self. So that's when I transitioned to financial services, because that's when I learned that I can work less and make a lot more. And I learned that from bartending, because when I did have my clothing stores, I would bartend on the weekends which will help me to continue to pay my bills at my store. And with me working from like 3 days, a couple hours, I was making $1,000 to $1,500 a week. So I knew I couldn't go back to corporate. That'd be like me going backwards. So I'm like, I need to figure out something else. What can I do? So then that's when I got into financial services. And that's when this whole world, like, oh my goodness, I could literally make like $1,000 in 30 minutes. That's crazy work. Crazy. And I could do this all day long and twice on Sunday. So I mastered the art of that. And then duplicating myself and creating a system to where as though I can teach other people to do the same thing and build a team. So then, okay, that was me transitioning to being a business owner, right? Where you got a team, they're producing the income for you. And then I'm like, okay, shoot, we're one step closer to getting to that investor pod, you know, but things like kind of fell south when COVID hit and I had to take like a couple steps back. But now we're here. And
wait, I do want to ask you what went wrong with the clothing store, and because you had a clothing store and then a hair salon. That's like a setup to, you know, that's people need clothes, people, and then to especially women always want to get their hair done,
right? And then to add on that, like you took it a step further. You're like, all right, cool, I'm a bartender on the nights. So what went wrong with the business? Like, was it just like a bad business venture? You didn't do something right?
Okay.
Okay. What was it?
Well, okay. First of all, I know you don't necessarily need a business plan, but sometimes when it comes to business, I just go off the fly. I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I didn't have like steps. I just knew I was basically going off of passion, but didn't necessarily have a plan. And then I had a business partner. So sometimes like when you have business partners and your vision isn't the same and you're not on the same page, then things fall apart fast. And that's exactly what happened. It's like we crashed and burned. It was like we tried, but it's just like, okay, this isn't working because we're not on the same page. So that fell apart. And then I was pivoting because I'm just like, okay, I can't sit somewhere for too long and it's not making sense. I owe it to my future self to do what I need to do because I have goals and dreams that's bigger than me, beyond me. So I just had to pivot. And I felt like that was very, very important because I didn't want to be a starving artist as well. And financial services, it literally changed my life. And I'm grateful for the changes that I did make. But now I put myself in a position to where as though I can go back to my passion and not have to worry about making a sale. Like, okay, I need people to come in here and buy clothes. If you don't buy clothes for me, I'm not going to make it. I ain't going to be able to pay my bills. But that's not the story. That's not the way I wanted to write it. So
you said you jumped into financial services. Was that like corporate? Like more so like corporate America?
No. 1099.
1099?
Yeah, no. It wasn't me working for a company.
So you was like, nah, you're not working for...
No. I immediately went in with the big boys. Like, okay, everything was commission. I had to use my skill set that I learned from working in corporate and implement it into my actual business in order to become successful. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I was going to ask you too, because I was going to say, you know, usually people come from that corporate, you know, background, and then they learn all the skills necessary before you take off on your own. So what field exactly were you working in the financial services?
Well, life insurance.
Life insurance?
Yeah, it's always been life insurance. Yeah, so it was never anything different. Hey y'all, so if you have stumbled across this video, make sure you do not fast forward because I have some information for you that can change your life and help you in the future. So my name is Brianna Kayla and I am in the financial service industry and I specialize in life insurance. So if you have a business, if you're a solopreneur or a freelancer and you have a policy and it's not at least $1 million to $2 million, we need to talk. If you have a policy that does not have living benefits, we need to upgrade your policy today. So make sure you check me out on Instagram or all social media platforms at Brianna Kayla J. I'm going to spell it out for you. It's BriannaKaylaJ. So you can book a call today. I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Life insurance is one of those things that I do want to mention, especially like in the Black community, like it's hard to talk about. even to get people to, you know, to sell them on, you know, getting life insurance, a lot of times they kind of like brush it off.
Yeah.
They're not too concerned about it. And it just got a stigma with it, because it's like, yo, hey, why do I care about, you know, how my life is going to be after I'm gone, sort of things, type of thing. So some people kind of brush it off. So how would you get people to get life insurance? Like, what was your tactic into convincing them into, you know, getting life insurance?
Well, I feel like it's definitely a mindset.
Yeah.
And our community is greatly underserved when it comes to life insurance. Sometimes people can't understand what they've never been taught, and what's not really placed as a high priority within their family. So when it comes to me, I like to language life insurance to where it's non-intimidating. And I feel like it's a common misconception. A lot of people think life insurance is way more expensive than what it actually is. So when I break things down, and I let them know, like, hey, my first policy was $1 million. I only paid $35 a month for it at the age of 24 with living benefits, you know. And when you can properly educate, and when you can sit down and like give examples of how they can change their family's future, that helps a lot. But nobody really wants to call the 1-800 number on on the TV screen. They don't want to buy something from a person over the phone. So it's different when you're face to face, and you can educate, and you can give examples, and you can show them like how life insurance actually works. Because a lot of people just don't understand. They don't understand the difference between whole life, term, final expense. It's just like, okay, like whatever. And then it's like, oh, well, my uncle's policy didn't pay out because, I don't know, life insurance is a scam. And it's like, no, it probably didn't pay out because there was a 2-year contestability period. It probably didn't pay out because they had term and they thought they had whole life. It probably didn't pay out because it lapsed and they didn't reinstate it. It's a lot of different variables to it. So that's why my why is so big. And it's just so important for me to properly educate, because I feel like the more policies that we can get out here, it'll change things from a lot of different things, from police brutality to like, you know, like everything will change. But if we keep thinking small, and if we keep settling for these small policies because our mom had an agent or our grandparent had an agent, it's like, okay, just hook my baby up, give them 10 to 15,000. That's not going to do anything. And we're going to keep spinning on this wheel of poverty, and it just really doesn't make sense, because you can utilize life insurance in a bunch of different ways. You got term with living benefits, right? I was able to benefit from that. You have IULs, whole life, where you can invest into it, and now your money is compounded because it's running parallel to the S&P 500, and now you can borrow and invest in real estate and do all these different things. But if you don't understand how it works, I can't expect you to get something that you don't understand and place value on. Right. So
I'm glad you said you know, a lot of things would change, because I just was gonna ask you too, because I don't know where I heard the quote from, but they said, you know, if African Americans had life insurance on them, all of that, like most of those things would go down. Especially, you know, cops killing civilians, you know, this going on, because there's going to be so much money attached to their name. If they die, that insurance company is going to have to pay out. So right now, unfortunately, we see a lot of GoFundMes. We see a lot of fish fries,
T-shirt sales.
And it's just too common in our community. So I feel like it's just a lot of education that, you know, we're missing. But I'm glad you're out here educating people, and you're letting them know, like, hey, it's different options to life insurance.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
So
it's more than one way to skin a cat, for sure. And you can use it while you're alive, okay? Like, just to understand that you do not have to die to use it is a game changer, because never in a million years did I think that I would have to actually utilize my own life insurance policy with me educating people. Like, oh, okay, you need living benefits in case a critical, chronic, or terminal illness happens. Never in a million years would me like just teaching that what I have thought that I would be making a call to my insurance. Like, okay, I need to file a claim.
Do you mind sharing like your own personal experience on you know, life insurance? Because like, you know, sometimes, you know, you might be the chef, you know. I done heard chefs be like, yo, I don't eat sushi, but my people say it tastes good. I'm like, what? How you know your food tastes good and you need to eat it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I say that to say, like, if you have a agent and they don't even got an insurance policy, but in case, like, you got an insurance policy and you had to use your insurance policy, so that's a little bit different. Like, what was your story like?
So yes, I don't believe in offering products or selling or educating on products that I don't actually have myself. So yes, I got my policy when I was 24 years old, and $1 million policy. That policy I don't have kids, I'm not married, any of that, but I got that policy specifically for my family because I'm like, I know I'm gonna be a millionaire, but just in case something were to happen on my way to, you know, that 7-figure, you know, goalpost that I set for myself, I want to make sure that my family is good.
All right, so sorry to break the episode. This message is for any entrepreneur. You really do a good job. You're killing it at whatever you do, but no one knows you. You have no social media presence. Well, guess what? You're missing out on a lot of money. Good news is I help entrepreneurs like you grow organically on social media. No gimmicks, no ads, just authentic, strategic content that converts. And if you're a podcaster, I've got you covered as well. If you're struggling to grow your show, struggling with editing, well, I cover those services as well. It's time to stop procrastinating and take action immediately. Click the link down below and book a call with me where we're going to sit down and talk one-on-one, and we're going to start helping you grow and create some motion and success, but more importantly, get you some leads that will convert into dollars. So what are you waiting for? Your audience is waiting for you. Let's get them to trust you. Click the link below.
Like, because I wanted to be the first person in my family to like stop generational curses and just be like ultra successful, right? So got that policy when I was 24, and then a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So at that point in time, I'm like, oh shoot, I was super devastated. But then I'm like, oh, but my policy, it has living benefits. Like,
And that time you was an agent?
Yes.
Okay.
It has living benefits. And with living benefits, it covers an event of a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. So talking about heart attacks, strokes, cancers, end of stage renal failure, major organ transplant, ALS, blindness due to diabetes or paralysis, a couple of other things. And then if you get into a situation where you need help dressing, bathing, eating, toileting, or transferring for a period of 90 consecutive days, you can also benefit from your policy. So at that point in time, I'm like, okay, let me make this call to my insurance company and file this claim. Now, it took some time for me to actually get the money from my policy, simply because, like I was mentioning before we started the
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What you gonna say?
Okay, you skipped the part where you said you got to pull, but you said you had to call, get the claim, and it took you a year. What was the gap? Like, how did that look for you? Like, what was the year process? Okay. I know you said you went to Mexico, you did treatment.
Oh, so you want to talk about, okay. So, okay, well, we could talk about that. So I got diagnosed a year and a half ago. What's this year? It's 2024. So that was July 5th of 2023. And I went to a doctor in Chicago, and at first, initially, when I got my mammogram, because I felt like something was weird, I want to say in December of 2022, they told me, oh, it's just a cyst. Like, oh, it's just a cyst. Come back in 6 months, and we just want to make sure it's not grown. Everything is fine. So I'll never forget, like, I took my mom and my sister, I took them on a surprise trip to Mexico for Mother's Day. And at that point in time, my 6-month mark was up. So I'm like, I'm not going to the doctor until after my trip, because if they try to tell me some BS, they not finna ruin my trip. So I went to the doctor after that, and they told me again, like, oh, it's fine. Everything is fine. And I'm like, I don't feel like everything is fine. Right. Yeah. Can y'all please bring a professional in here? Y'all got these student doctors that I do not trust. Please come in here and really, like, let's take it a notch further.
Wait, if you could just say, like, what exactly did you initially feel, or what did you see that you was like, something's wrong before you went to
I
the
just
doctor?
had pains, off and on pains for years. But I probably should have never did this, but I would call my father because he was my mentor at the time, and he like, just drink some alkaline water. So I'm like, I should have called my mom. Like, why am I talking to a man about women stuff? Like, what am I doing? But I just trusted him, like, because he was I did. I was carrying alkaline water in the back of my car. That's all you would see is the alkaline water cases at the health food store. So I'm drinking it and drinking, like, okay, whatever. So okay, but alkaline water is good for you though.
They be like, drink some tea, you be all right.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, that's why insurance for men is way more expensive than it is for women, because men don't go to the doctor like that. It's like, just do this, just do that, everything gonna be fine, you know. So I was doing that for years, okay. And so then another doctor came in. They was like, okay, we want to biopsy you. I don't know, something seems weird. And I'm like, how did things go from 0 to 100 real quick? And now y'all think like y'all see something and it's weird. So then they told me, all right, this is exactly what it is. But at that point in time, I didn't trust them anymore. So I wanted to go the holistic route. So then that's when I found a place in Mexico, and I stayed out there for about a month, and I was paying out of pocket because they don't take health insurance there, but the therapies there were absolutely phenomenal. Like, they shrunk my tumor down like crazy, but they did have to give me low dose chemo, and I actually went to Mexico because I didn't want to do chemo and I didn't want to lose my hair. And then they told me that there was like a 5% chance that I would lose my hair and 95% chance that I wouldn't. So I'm like, okay, sign me up, let's do this. But then I end up losing my hair, and then at that point in time, I waited probably about another 6 months before I made the decision to go through like Western medicine. So I did that, and then a couple months ago, cancer free, and just continuing on with both holistic and Western combined.
I really love that, because I did hear, like, I listened to, like I said, the previous podcast you did, and I really like the fact how you went about the treatment, because I'm a little skeptical as well with Western medicine. I'm gonna be honest. And I do, like, I am in the health field too, so I see a lot of times it's like, yo, straight chemo, straight radiation, but then it's also cons to that, because the good and bad cells are affected. So I'm glad that you seeked holistic, because they automatically always trying to just throw you into radiation, into chemo and things like that. So what was like your mindset during this period? Like, and what stage were you in?
Stage 3.
Wow.
Mindset was, don't tell nobody, and I didn't. When I went on Donnie's podcast, that was the first time I actually talked about it and told people about it. Nobody in my family really knew outside of my mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister. So it was people in my family like, what the heck? Like, you wasn't telling? No, because I need warriors, not warriors. I don't need people creeping into my mental process of me battling and fighting and winning and conquering, and y'all telling me like, oh, well, I know somebody who didn't make it, or you should do this and you should do that. No, I want to listen to my body. I want to get aligned with God, and I want to make decisions that I'm actually happy with, because if I'm making decisions just based off of what you want me to do and I do it and I'm not happy, that's going to affect my healing process and my healing journey. I got into it with my mom a couple of times because she wanted me to hurry up and jump to do things that I did not want to do, and I didn't feel comfortable with doing it. And I understand how being truly happy, content, and just having a strong positive mindset is a part of actually beating and conquering when it comes to, fighting cancer.
I feel like all of those things matter. The way you talk to yourself, physical treatments as well, all of those things play a role in getting better. And I'm not gonna lie, like that's really strong of you, because you know, to even, because a lot of people gonna see you on social media, like, I mean, nothing wrong with her. Like, we think about people like even Steve Jobs, Virgil Abloh, who else? The guy from the Black Panther. Super silent about things that they were going through, and then unfortunately, like, they passed away. But you can understand why they probably didn't want people to know, because probably of a similar type of, you know, experience.
Yeah.
So the fact you were still strong throughout a period like that is really something that you got to be strong for.
Yeah, especially being, you know, young.
Yeah.
You know, they say for United States, the number one cause of death is cancer and diabetes and heart attacks. You know, so it's like, all right, cool. You got the whole world against you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool. Just trying to keep the faith, trying to keep everything solid in here, so that way you could do what you got to do for your own self.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, like, when you pass away, it's over.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So I just felt like God just really put it in my spirit to talk about it, because I wasn't even gonna talk about it at all. But I'm like, girl, you are in insurance. Like, you can help somebody from a preventative perspective. Like, you can push the community to actually get policies with these living benefits, and you can save somebody's life potentially, because now they can make smarter decisions, different decisions based off, like, they don't necessarily have to do what's pushed on them, because now they have money and they can go, hey, I'm finna go to Mexico, I'm finna go to Dr. Sebi's spot, or I'm finna just, you know, whatever you want to do, you will be able to do it because of you hearing me and my story. Like, okay, let me go ahead and get a policy, because in cancer it doesn't have a name on it. Anybody can get it, and we got all this crazy stuff going into our foods, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a huge thing for me as well. I completely changed my diet. Before they even told me, because I was scared, I went raw vegan. Like, I was eating raw for probably about 6 months. So I was 180 pounds and I went down to like 130.
So when you say raw, just straight fruits?
Nothing cooked.
Nothing cooked.
No cooked
No flame
food.
under it. Nothing hot.
Nothing. Everything was raw. Everything. So I was nothing was cooked.
Wow.
Like, I could have threw away all my pots and pans, because I was juicing and just eating salads, and everything was raw.
Who gave you that idea to go all raw?
Well, my family, we have a farm.
Oh, wow.
So
But your family has a farm?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a farm, and my grandfather...
Like, still to this day?
To this day.
Wow.
Yeah, so my grandfather, he's been trying to get us to, y'all stop eating that meat, stop doing la. So I'm just like, you know what? I started going to the farm, and I was getting, you know, stuff from there. They were giving me herbs, and I hired a herbalist, and man, it's been a journey. I wouldn't change for the world, though. I tell people this, and I even said it to my mom, like, you know, I'm kind of happy that this happened to me, because if it didn't happen, I don't think I would have changed a lot of things about myself to help me get to the next level that I need to get to, so that I can help more people and empower more people. And who better than me, because I know how mentally strong I am. So here I am now, just trying to help more people, for sure.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Absolutely,
that's really powerful, because a lot of people don't know this information. Like, I'm seeing people, they get into car accidents, you know, really bad. Next minute it's GoFundMe, you know, it's GoFundMe. It's like, yo, you know, you're relying on other people to take care of you, and you know, I mean, that, like, you could raise a lot of money, but you don't want it to go to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this information is gonna save somebody's life, you know, like, for real.
It's like, especially like the people that, like me personally, I would go to the hospital, I'll go to the doctor, I'm looking at the clock, listen, it's an hour. I'm still in this waiting room. I'm about to bounce. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, cool. You know what? Just relax. Like, understand that just do the checks, see what's wrong, if there is anything wrong, and just, you know, just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I feel like anybody can start today. Like I do so much research on just like our body. Our body is literally an emergency room. Like we can heal ourselves, but you have to be mindful of the things that you're putting into your body. If you can fast, and that's like one of the number one things that I started to do, like fasting for 12 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours, like that allows your cells to take a break, because you're not putting all this stuff. It's resting, and then it's like, oh, so she not gonna feed us? Like, okay, we gotta find energy from somewhere else. Like, come on, y'all, let's clean up. And then now they're killing other bad cells like within your body. And you know, I forget what they say. Like, I think all of our cells and everything like regenerate. I forget but like after a certain period of time, 6 months or something like that, like we whole new body, we get a whole new body. So we just gotta watch what we put into our body, fast often. Right, man, fast as much as you can, and understand that drinking water is cool, but like you gotta add something to that, like because it's like really it's no nutrients in just drinking regular water. Like, put some chlorophyll in that. You should drink your fruits. Like you get a lot more out of that, and you'll be all right. And don't fear. No fear. That was my biggest thing, to eliminate fear. So that's why I didn't tell people as well. But now here I am talking freely just to try to save other people's
blessing.
lives.
Yeah, that is
absolutely,
and then that's great advice, especially with the diet, because like you said, right now it's a lot of things that's in our food that, you know, potentially they're all compounding, so you never know what it could lead to. What is your background? Because you said you had a farm. I know usually people in like the Caribbean, African, they're really, really heavy into they don't even like going to doctors. Like,
What's going on, my Motion and Success family? Sorry to break the interview, but I had to. I just wanted to share some information with you guys because I know there is a problem. A lot of people out here, they're struggling with their credit. They're struggling to get funding. They're struggling to close a real estate deal. They're struggling to go ahead and increase their credit score. They're struggling to remove inquiries off your profile. I have the solution for you. So now what I went ahead and did was I created an AI powered software that you can use to go out and repair your own credit, not only your credit, but also your family members' credit if you wanted to. So the name of the system is called m2magnate.com. This is an AI powered software that you can use that will generate all the letters for you in less than 5 minutes, and you can send out your letters throughout the software to get the results. This is the same exact system that's responsible for helping me remove negative items off my client's credit profile, my credit profile, and this is what's going to help you to get that 700 plus credit score without having to pay thousands of dollars. Go ahead and visit m2magnate.com and start working on your credit. See you guys inside the software.
My family is African. They don't like going to I mean, they go to the doctors, but they rather like, yo, I'm gonna take this herb, or like, you know, they rather alternative routes.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, yeah, my grandfather, he's always been that way, growing up in the country, growing his own food. He wouldn't even like coming, because I stay downtown. He does not like coming to the city at all. He like, the air is different.
Breathing,
the air is different. It's weird. Y'all need to get out of there, all that. So I'm just like, but I'm a city girl, you know, but I'm definitely evolving. Like, I grew up on the farm too. Like, my grandfather would always tell me how I used to just be on the farm, bare feet, rolling watermelon, all that. So I'm very versatile here, but you know, like, these are just the cards that I've been dealt. So
wow.
So everything is seeded.
Yeah.
All the fruits.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
a
seeing
huge
all these weird
controversy
fruits
nowadays.
in the supermarket.
I do not play
seeded
about
fruits,
seeds.
no seeded fruits.
Yes.
This versus that. This is not alkaline. This is a man-made fruit. I'm not eating. I have nothing against it, but I'm like, yo, if you eating pork, you might as well just eat an unseeded watermelon.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I don't know, but
I'm just saying, I'm like, yo, you might as well do it.
Yeah,
like, what's the problem? But I get it, because I'm like, man, I would do the like holistic approach, like no meats, you know, just straight grains, quinoa as rice, things like that. It's good, you know, so mushrooms. Good. It's good as long as you know how to mix it up and, you know, make it look good and make it taste good, it'd be good.
It's so good. My whole taste palette is different, and I'm just super grateful for it. Like, man, it's some good stuff out here. And I feel like, well, I don't know. Do y'all have a True Foods out here?
True Foods?
Nah.
True Food Kitchen? No, True Food Kitchen.
No.
Y'all should look into it, because True Foods, they do not cook with like those harmful oils, and they partner with farms, so all of their food is like the freshest. Like, they go off the organic stuff. Like, so that's like my go-to. Like, when I started eating cooked food again, True Foods has been like my go-to. So look into them.
The city that we're in right now, New York, it's a real desert. Like, to the point, I had found a couple weeks ago, I found a spot that they sell like sour sop and things like that. Okay. The line is literally so long, because it's like people go around and they try to find these spots, but it's so hard to find like real fruits, real organic type of food.
What's the name of the place? Because Dr. Sabi's wife, she's out here, so she has a clinic out here. And I was gonna go through her. Because it was her. Or what is that guy? It's a guy on YouTube, Yaki Awe. Yes. So I planned on going to him, because I'm just like, oh man, like, he's young, he's vibrant. She a little older, but it's just like they the goats. So I wanted him to be my my holistic doctor. So I actually plan on going to him to continue, and then going to Mexico still, like, every year for preventative maintenance, because they do like high vitamin C, like, infusions. They have the oxygen chambers. Like, it's hot saunas. Like, it's a whole regimen. Like, that's absolutely amazing. It's a little pricey, but it's worth. Health is definitely wealth. So it's just like, you got to stay on top of that stuff if you trying to like still move and shake and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. So
wow. It's a lot that goes into maintaining, but it's needed. You know what I mean? It's definitely something needed.
I do want to jump back into the life insurance, because I want to talk about the living benefits.
Yeah, sure.
So when I was on doing my research into life insurance, probably like a few years ago, this is the first time I heard that they had living benefits. So I was wondering what it was, but I'm hearing all the smart, rich, wealthy people talking about it. And it was building up your cash value, borrowing against it. And a lot of people using that to get real estate, to do business and whatever. And somebody had said that you can pay it back, but worst cases, you don't pay it back. Let's say the person dies or whatever, then he said the taxes die with you.
Loan out on your insurance policy, so that way you don't gotta go to a bank. Yeah. And as you take the loan
infinite
out,
banking type of strategies and things like that. So could you talk a little bit about that, like the living benefit part of life insurance?
So that's two different things there. So when I talk about living benefits, I'm talking about riders within the policy. So that's the critical, chronic, and terminal perspective within a policy. So if one of those things were to happen, you could receive up to 90% of your policy, just depending on the severity of the diagnosis. Now, what you're talking about an IUL, Index Universal Life Insurance Policy, where you're able to invest or pay into these policies, and it is basically running parallel to the S&P 500 or whatever index you have it tied to. And at that point in time, when the market goes up, then your cash value within the policy goes up, right? But there is typically a cap with these IUL. So the cap is anywhere from 8 to 12%, and then there's a floor. So when the market goes down, like it did in 2007, almost 40%, if you had an IUL at that point in time, your money is it's basically not full participation like a 401k. So when it goes down, there's a floor of 0.25%. So you actually still gain a little bit, but you're not losing anything. So when you want to borrow from your policy, you can borrow from your policy, but you cannot borrow from the account value. There's the surrender value, and that's what you can actually borrow from. And if you don't pay it back, it just eats away at the face amount of the policy, and or your policy will just fall apart because it's no longer functioning the way it needs to continue to keep going.
Wow.
I've heard a lot of like different talks, like from listening to different podcasts, like with accountants, where they was like, yo, like a lot of times it doesn't really make sense to do it unless you're at a certain point as far as business or money wise. Like, what's the unspoken truth when it comes to like infinite banking? Like that a lot of people just try to skip past.
So there is a minimum that you need to put into the policy so that it can function the way it needs to.
Period.
And then period.
Right.
But some people don't understand that you don't want to just pay the minimum.
Right.
Like you need to overpay, like overfund the policy a little bit so that the cash value can continue to grow, because you got to think about it. You're still paying for two things. You're paying for the life insurance, but then you're also, the other portion of your monthly premium is going to participate in the market. So if you're just paying the bare minimum and this is a whole life policy, it's going to continue to, inside of your policy, it continues, your monthly premium continues to rise as time progresses. So the cost of your policy continues to go up, right? So if it's continuing to go up and you're paying the bare minimum, how long do you think it'll be before your policy actually cancels out, right? So that's how the policy works.
Okay.
How do you know? How do you know how much life insurance somebody needs? Like
through a needs analysis. That's a great question. And that's what I pride myself on, educating people to actually figure out exactly how much you need, instead of you coming to me and telling me, okay, like just give me a policy for $100,000. I think that's just going to work just fine because my mom, she had $100,000 and my dad, blah, 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 blah. How you properly assess exactly how much coverage you need is through the DIME theory. So DIME is an acronym, DIME. D stands for debt and death. Okay. I stands for income replacement. M stands for mortgage. And then E stands for education. So when we sit down and we actually do the numbers on this, we understand that the average funeral costs anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. But I like to put inflation in there because we don't want anything to happen now. Cross our fingers. So we can put it up to $20,000, whatever the case may be, just depending on how lavish you want to go out. D also stands for debt. So you want to put your debt in there: credit card, student loans, car note. You want to put whatever is on your credit, put that in there, right? I is income replacement. If you have children under the age of 18, like let's say you have a 8-year-old, right? And I always ask my clients, how old do you think your child will be before they stop depending on your income? 18, they gone, whatever. Okay, so 10 more years, right? So how much money are you making per year? I make $100,000 per year. All right, so if we take that $100,000 and times that by 10, that's $1 million right there. Right? M stands for mortgage. Do you have a mortgage? Is your wife a stay-at-home mom or whatever the case may be? Yeah, okay. How much does the insurance company need to write a check for to write that home off in event anything were to happen? About $500,000. Okay, we at $1.5 million right now. And you said $100,000? Okay. E stands for education. Do you want to send your kids off to college if anything were to happen to them before they turn 18? It's about $75,000 for all 4 years for a public college and $100,000 for a private. So what route you want to go? And let's multiply that by how many kids you got. You got 4 kids? Oh, okay. So when we add all that up, just what I just went through, that's almost $2 million. Right there.
So what? Grand.
What you say?
And they came to the table with
$100,000. $100,000. What is your family gonna do with $100,000 when you're worth way more than that? So if you don't have $2 million in your bank account today, you need to have $2 million in a life insurance policy until you have $2 million. But now, it's called the theory of depreciating responsibility. Those needs will diminish as you get older. Why is that, Bree? Well, because once your kids become of age and they go off to college, maybe they get scholarships, we could take that college education out your life insurance. Boom. Now we don't need $2 million. Now we need probably like $1.5 million, right? Then once you pay off that home for $500,000, okay, the home is paid off. All right, we could just will trust, put that in there, and then you just got to pay off the taxes, whatever the case may be. Now you need $1 million. Now, once your youngest becomes of age, you could take that $1 million of income replacement out. Then once you pay off your debt, however much that is, all right, we just need enough for a funeral. Now, at that point in time, if you have a term policy that has like $2 million, and then you get a final expense policy that's just a whole life policy just dedicated towards paying for a funeral for $15,000, you can have those policies running parallel at the same time. So when your term is up and all of those things that we just talked about is taken care of, you can let that term go and ride with your final expense policy if you still need to.
So one policy turns into another after the term is done?
You can convert it, or you can have both at the same time.
Does the price stay the same?
The price will stay the same, because once you lock in the cost of a whole life, if I locked in a whole life policy right now, let's say it's $20,000 and I'm paying like $30 per month, that will never change. It'll be $30 per month for the entire duration of the policy, because that's a whole life final expense policy.
What if a person commits suicide?
If a person commits suicide after the first 2 years, which is outside of that contestability period, they'll be fine. You're not supposed to really say that, but they will. Yeah. Yeah. Because people will do that. So there's just like, okay, let me get this policy, and then let me wait 2 years, and then I'm going to commit suicide. Like, you're not supposed to, you finessing. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that was, you just gave a lot of game.
You flamed it. I'm like, wait.
Now I'm sitting here thinking way different about life insurance.
Right.
Like, the way you broke it down, like, you know, based on your needs analysis, like, a lot of people they don't think like that.
They don't.
You know, they definitely don't think like that.
And you guys, for example, y'all have this business, so y'all need key man insurance. Y'all should have a policy on each other, because if y'all in direct alignment with y'all vision, is just like, okay, we have expenses together. We got to pay for this, you know, this rental. We got all this stuff. If something would have happened to one of y'all, like, can y'all hold the show down? You know? So that is the importance of key man insurance and having it within your business as well. So it's not just for family, it's stand on business as well. You got to make sure that you can continue to run it, and make sure that you can replace either one of y'all, or at least replace that income, so that you can continue on with your mission and your goal for motion and success. That's so important. Yeah. So y'all need to do a needs analysis on that. Like, okay, well, shoot, we plan on making XYZ. These are our expenses. Like, we got all this stuff together. We got to make sure we tighten that up. And then, of course, solopreneurs and freelancers, that's what I'm after as well, because it's like 9 times out of 10, when you leave your corporate job, you don't have those benefits anymore. So now it's like, okay, don't have the benefits. Now I'm running my own business, but then when we start running our own business, we put health insurance, life insurance, all that stuff to the wayside, and that needs to be the first thing that's in direct alignment. Because if anything were to happen on your journey to get whatever goalpost or whatever goal you're trying to get to, it'll easily fall apart. Yeah. And the number one cause of a bankruptcy is a critical, chronic, or terminal illness. And 66% of Americans, once they bump into something like that, it's like, okay, now their business is going under. Yeah. This could be the next Jeff Bezos. You could be the next woo Oprah. But now those talents are dying because you had a bump in the road. And now it's like everything fell apart and you can't even get to it. So that's my biggest thing when it comes to our community and just helping African Americans, because like anything can happen to anybody. I'm a prime example. Yeah. And if I didn't have living benefits, I probably would have crumbled, fell into a bankrupt situation. Credit would have been all jacked up. My credit almost at 800 right now. Like, I'm still able to do what I need to do. But if I didn't have living benefits, I probably wouldn't even be here to be able to talk to people, because I'd be so worried about picking up my finances and just like, oh my God, like now I'm stressed out from everything that fell apart at this point in time.
So what advice would you give, you know, somebody watching right now and they heard you mention $35, you could get it like $35 a month and you could get $1 million policy. Where can they get that? Like, and how? Like,
so insurance is all contingent upon age. So life insurance is the inverse of car insurance. So I feel like that's a huge misconception as well when it comes to people. It's like, okay, well, car insurance is what? More, is it cheaper or more expensive when we're younger?
More expensive.
And
More
why
expensive.
is that?
Reckless driving.
It's a huge risk, right?
Yeah.
These insurance companies like, you just learn how to drive. Hold on, wait. Your premiums
Bro.
got to be higher.
Yeah.
But when it comes to life insurance, it's cheaper when we're younger. So life insurance is always going to be cheaper today than it will be tomorrow. So it's always important to get it today and not wait and procrastinate, because anything can happen tomorrow where you can no longer get insured. You could have been insured yesterday, but you can't get insured now. Now, I am so grateful that before my diagnosis, like probably like 6 months before that, I got another $2 million policy for my nieces and nephews. Now I am uninsurable because of my diagnosis. But proper preparation prevents poor performance and all that,
Wait,
right?
so now after being diagnosed with cancer, you can't get approved for another insurance policy?
No, not right now. You got to be in remission for 5 years, and then some companies, they want you they come back when you're 50 and you ain't had like reoccurrence. Like it's wild when you have pre-existing conditions. So if you're healthy and you're young right now, it's best to lock in everything, get everything that you can get, because anything can change in the blink of an eye to where as though you can't get insurance, you don't qualify for living benefits, or you can get insurance, but now you can't qualify for living benefits because you got high blood pressure, something just whatever. And if it's too much of a risk for the insurance company, they're not going to offer it to you. I just had a client yesterday. I had a couple of clients. They get these surgeries, gastro sleeve surgeries. They had $1 million policies before, but they letting their policies lapse because, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll just get it again, Bree, because, of course, I'm going to help you again. But now it's different because you had this. Now I can't. Ain't nobody giving you living benefits now. And you have 4 kids. All I can give you is a final expense policy. 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 max, and you just had $1 million. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart every single time. Or like I've had calls where it's like, oh my God, like my husband just passed away, like, and I've been calling you guys for 6 months to pay your policy, and now it's like, can we do anything? Can we just pay back all the premiums from that it lapsed 6 months ago? And it's like, no, it's a little too late. So life insurance is so important. It's like, once you get it, set it and forget it. Like you pay for Netflix, just put it on the bank, put it wherever majority of your money at, and the money gonna be there from a savings perspective, whatever it is, have it taken out of there, because this type of stuff happens all the time and I see it all the time. And it's just so sad and it breaks my heart. Because I get so invested and I love my clients and we build these relationships. So when this type of stuff happens, it's like, I kind of blame myself, but it's like I did all I could do. Like I've been calling you, like I've been, like talking to you about it, and it's just like, oh, okay, we'll get back to it later, but it's like later is a little too late now. Yeah.
So in terms of like
facts,
yeah.
Outside of breast cancer, what are some of the other things that they won't cover? Because now you got to wait like 5 years. There's a whole process to it. Yeah. Outside of cancer, what other?
It's a whole, like if you had like a recent heart attack, if you had a recent stroke, like it just varies from company. Diabetes, they'll cover it, but you might not be able to get living benefits. It just depends on the severity. Like, are you on insulin, like insulin dependent? It really, really depends. Yeah. So, yeah.
So in terms of policy, like, do you shop around for your clients?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. I'm a broker, so I'm not married to a specific company to where as though I have to push State Farm on you or Prudential. I have to push this product on you because this is what I offer. No, I educate you on what's on the market, and we figure out what's best suitable for you, because what's suitable for you might not be good for you. Yeah. Like you guys might be in 2 different stages of your life. You might need an IUL. You might need a term policy because you just got married, got all these kids. But he like, oh, well, I just want to invest my money into something that'll, grow. So, I just figure out what's best needed for you and your situation, and then look on the market to see like who has the best prices for, you at that point in time.
So with your brokerage, do you have your clients, like, do they have to go to the doctor's office?
Oh, I love these questions.
Do they gotta do all of that stuff?
Yes, no. So you can literally get up to $2 million. I am so proud of this because when I got my $1 million policy, I had to take a physical because this was a little bit before COVID. Oh, I forget when it was, but anything over $250,000, you had to take a physical for. And I hate needles, but now after COVID, you can get up to $2 million worth of coverage with living benefits, no physical, instant decision. So it's not a long waiting process and tedious underwriting. So I absolutely love the streamlined process right now. Yes. So up to $2 million. Yep.
Wow.
No physical.
That's crazy.
Do you mind if I ask a question, bro?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my thing is, you said you help freelancers, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. I know one of the things that even, my family's very supportive of what I do, but also concerned about health, things like that. Like they always talk about health insurance, this, that, the third. How can an entrepreneur that's not working a corporate job go out and get some health insurance? Like I'm talking about like good quality health insurance, eyes, dental, physical, body. Like how do you get insured?
From a health perspective,
like health insurance.
So I went through the what is it called, the marketplace. So it was like a surplus of different companies. My first policy when I went independent was through Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea about any of that because I was on my mama policy until I was 26. So I was like, ooh, and I was so devastated when I fell off. I'm like, now I gotta get my own. What is going on? So
it's counting down for me.
Yeah. My first stop was through the marketplace.
Where do you go for a marketplace? You call a hotline or something?
Yeah, it's a number you can call. I don't know the verbatim, but if you go online and go through the marketplace, I think it should be out. But New York, I don't know. Y'all weird out here. Like, I don't know. Some of my insurance carriers, they will not allow me to sell policies to people in New York. Like, New York is off limits.
If they see something, that means I need to be packing my bags.
Like, yes, I don't know. Like,
they're like, yo, if I don't want to pay out because there's something about New York, that means I need to be packing my bags and probably move to Chicago.
So I'm just like, I don't know if it's the same on the health side because on the life side, New York is sometimes just restricted.
New York City or New York State?
New York,
bro.
The state, like the whole thing.
I think it might be too much chronic diseases out here. Like the food out here, it's tough to find healthy
ain't no
food
trees,
out here. So I think
we was just talking about that. Me and my friend Ashley, she was like, "Yeah, when I moved to Georgia, there's trees everywhere. I love it." I'm like, "Yeah, ain't no trees. This is just all buildings. Y'all get busy out here. Like everybody is hustling and bustling trying to get to a bed.
Every little spot they building up with 5-story, 10-story buildings.
Yes. So,
so just go through the marketplace, and I'll be able to book a consultation, things like that.
Yeah, you'll be able to talk to someone that'll break down like how the policy works, like because they had to do that for me because I was just like, I don't know how this health insurance stuff works. I'm on the life insurance side, so
nobody
make it make
talks
sense
about that part.
Make it make sense for me. So
like as far as like pricing wise, from your personal experience, like how does it look for health insurance, like to get like full coverage, dental, body, and stuff like that?
Expensive, bro.
I know it's expensive, but we got car insurance. You know, paying $300-$400.
I was only paying like $100. Yeah, through the marketplace. Yes.
How about copays? Copays might be up there if it's $100.
No. Some of my visits was free. Some was $20, $30. Like it was cool. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I asked that, because the biggest thing for a lot of people for leaving their jobs and pursuing their dreams is the benefits of the job. You know, the health insurance.
You can pay for your own benefits.
Meanwhile, we all got cars, and I'm like, yo, we all got a car. We all pay insurance, and sometimes our insurance is much higher. Our deductibles is either $500 or $1,000. You know what I mean? So I'm like, am I really gonna like go to a job just so I can have health insurance? Nah.
People do it. And I feel so bad for those people. It makes me sad. I'm like, don't waste your time. If you're going to do it, do both. Like if you're gonna give a corporation all those hours, make sure you give yourself those hours. And then when it makes sense to fully transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, it'll make sense. But just don't do it just for the benefits, because once you learn about like how much it actually costs, you can get your own benefits. Like it's not that bad. Everybody just let's grow up. Come on, and figure it out.
Nah, that's you gave a lot of gems.
You do. I want to ask another question, but
yeah, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead,
go on, let's go.
All right, so let's talk about the making money side on life insurance and becoming an agent, right? So my guy Damon Dillard, he was like, one of the things that his mentor told him when he was growing up, and one thing I realized, I feel like if I were to do things all over again, I probably would be a life insurance agent.
I would too.
I think I would. But I got, introduced to like Primerica, and I didn't really like the vibes. It was more like a pyramid scheme. Wait, hold on. Wait, don't flame me, y'all. Do not don't flame me. But listen, all right, so they invited me to an office. They sat me down. She wasted my whole day. I was there for like 3 hours. She sat me in her room, and I thought it was so phony. She called herself a doctor. I'm like, she said my name is Dr. This. Like, I'm like, oh shit, doctor calling me. Somebody referred me to her. So I'm like, oh yeah. So she said her name is, let's just say her name was Dr. Naomi. I'm like, all right, cool, Dr. Naomi, all right, cool, let's work. Because at the time, I'm like, yo, we could probably work together. I got my credit business, you and this. We probably could refer clients to each other. Got there, wasted a whole 3 hours of my day. She had me sitting in her room. I'm like, yo, how you about to invite me and just have me sitting meanwhile you doing your due? Like, whole day wasted. You know what? And then she had all her people come in. You should sign up for this. Life change. Yeah. I'm making money on this. I'm like, yeah, keep it. I already did MLMs. And then she's like, sign up for your license. It's $99. I'm like, bump that. I'm not doing it. And then I started hearing more about the IULs. And I'm like, yo, those sounds cool. Like, those strategies sound fire. That might be something I could do. And then hearing Damon Dillard, he was like, yo, his mentor told him, he's like, if you get your life insurance license, you will never have to worry about money again.
Check, mate.
So what will be your thing as far as suggestions when it comes to why should a person consider becoming an agent? Because you might not even, and to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
They said you don't even have to be the person that's like doing what you do. You get your life insurance license and refer a person to you. They close the policy, and in order for you to get paid, you have to have your license. So let's talk about the money part of your industry.
Well, I can talk all day about the money part, and I feel like it's not for everybody. Okay.
Why not?
First of all,
after the stories you just said,
but it's not for everybody. Well, at first, because my father, I got introduced to the industry because of my dad. He's been doing it since I was 4 years old, and like I love fashion so much, so it was just like my mindset was not there originally. I'm just like, there is nothing sexy about or cool or fly about life insurance. So I had to mentally level up and see it from a different perspective, as far as like it's more to help people, right? And actually empower and like impact. But as far as like when it comes to the money making aspect, with this industry, that's where I learned that you can work way less and make the most money ever. The moment I found out that I can make $1,000 in 30 to 45 minutes is where like things really shifted for me from a mental perspective. And it's an actual need-based business. So people are going to need life insurance forever. It's not like a fad. It's not something that's like super trendy or just something that's cool right now. No, like this is a game changer, and it has been a game changer for me. So as far as like when it comes to actually getting your license, it is a step. Is that what you're asking about? Like the step by step process?
Well, yeah, that too, and also the money making parts.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, how you actually get money, like make money from these insurance companies is, okay, they break it down like this. You get paid commission, right? So if a client pays $100 per month for their policy, how it works is the insurance company, what they'll do is they'll take that 100, multiply it by 12 because it's 12 months in a year, and they'll advance you that, right? But you have to, so that's 100 times 12, that's 1,200. So then you take that 1,200, which is the annualized premium, and you multiply it by your contract level. So let's say you're at 100% contract. That means that you'll get $1,200 for that one policy after the client pays that one premium. So once they draft that first bank premium, then you're going to get your commission for that $1,200.
So after that first month of payment? Okay.
Yep. So let's say I write you up, right? And then your first premium is scheduled to draft tomorrow. Then I'll get paid the following day, or, you know, how, depending on that company and how long it takes for them to process the commission. But that's how it works. So it works off how much the client is paying per month, multiply that by 12, and multiply that by your commission level. So when it comes to actually being an agent and when you're looking at getting into the insurance industry, there is a couple of things that you want to take heed to. You want to, first of all, figure out who do you want to service? Because like you mentioned, Primerica, they're a buy-term invested difference company. They're not going to allow you to sell IULs, and they're captive. What does that mean?
Primerica? Just off topic, do you like them?
No.
Yeah.
I don't. Because they're captive, they're buy-term and invested difference. So you cannot service clients who want IULs or whole life policies. And Primerica is its own insurance company. So that means that you're selling Primerica insurance opposed to someone who's a broker like me. No shade. Hey, y'all. But I'm able to go to Transamerica, Fidelity, F&G, Emeritus. Like I'm partnered and able to work with these different companies, Mutual of Omaha, to see what'll work best for my client and who's the cheapest amongst them all. And based off of this person who has a driving record that's horrible or horrible credit, okay, I have a company for them. Even though they'll get denied here, I can pivot to another company. If you go through a company like Primerica or whatever the case may be, and that's all they have to offer, and you get denied, there is no helping you. It's like, oh, it's nothing I can do. Sorry, go fetch. And then that puts you in a situation to now it's like me as a consumer, somebody that's looking to get a policy. Now I have a bad taste in my mouth. I do not feel like going to research and doing all this. Forget life insurance. I don't feel like going through it and doing it. And then tomorrow I'll get diagnosed with something or somebody passes away just because that agent was not able to properly help you like an agent that is actually a broker. So if you're looking to get into the industry, you want to look at, okay, captive, non-captive, what type of products and services do you want to offer? Do you want to be a final expense agent, term? What are you looking to do? And you got to also take a look at the compensation as well, because no bash to Primerica, but they start their agents off at the lowest comps I've ever seen. Like it's like 20-30%, and it's just like, oh my God. So if we take that one client, right, paying $100 per month times that by the 12, that's $1,200. Your comp is 20 to 30%. Instead of you getting $1,200, now you getting $200 to $300. Yeah, like so. Look at the comps, where they're starting you out and how they want you to build. Because some companies, they want you to build like, come on, recruit, bring all the people in, and then you could get to the next level. Yeah. But they're also banking on you quitting. They're banking on you actually quitting. So they want you to bring all these people in and recruit, because it's like 9 times out of 10, you're going to leave. We're going to take your referrals, all those referrals that you wrote down, and we're supposed to go out on these appointments. I'm banking on you not continuing, and I'm going to take your referrals and I'm going to go out and on them appointments. So if you decide you want to get back into the insurance industry, I'm I'm basically burning through your warm market. So now you're not even going to get a fair shot to be successful in this business, because starting out in this business, my warm market was everything. My close friends and family members was everything. So if my mentor sat down with everybody and I want to take a break because I want to go to school or whatever the case may be, and then I wanted to come back, but you talk to all my friends and family members, who do I have to talk to from a comfort perspective? Now I got to stand outside of Jules or the mall and say, okay, I'm insurance agent, you need some insurance, instead of me being able to get the proper mentorship, the guidance for me to actually see how to do a presentation and get the referrals from my close friends and family members. Although I know that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do business with me because they know me from Bree, like the fashion lady. That it's like, Bree, you don't know nothing about insurance. What is you doing, girl? But at least I'll be able to get those referrals because my presentation was so phenomenal. But if you go into a company and they burn through your referrals, it's like, dang, what I'm going to do? Now you don't even have a fair shot to be successful. So you got to watch out for all of those things, how they want you to build. If they want you to write down a list of people and give it to them, don't be giving away y'all list. Do not give away y'all, hold that list. If they want you to give it to them, if they're captive, where they're starting you out at, how is their training, like what type of mentoring, like are they training multiple times throughout the week so you can be successful? Are you just gonna go into their program and just be out there willy-nilly, like I don't even know what to do next, and you just telling me to go fetch? So you got to look at all of those things, because if you're not properly trained and if you don't got a good mentor in this industry, you will fail, and that will be horrible, because this is a great industry to get you from where you are to where you want to be a lot faster. I call this like the Ferrari of going through that cash flow quadrant, the Ferrari, because it can get you to the investor side real quick. So,
wow. I've never heard anybody ever break down the life insurance, becoming an agent so well like you've done.
Really good, bro.
I mean, a decade is definitely showing for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So how? Yeah. You. I can ask him.
Nah, I was gonna say, being that life insurance, you're dealing with millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I done heard a lot of crimes committed, by somebody related to the policyholder. Let's say they know their mom got $1 million policy, and they down bad, so they thinking about, hey, I remember mom got that $1 million policy, and money, like they say, could be the root of all evil.
Yeah.
How do
So
what is your thoughts on that?
I think that's wild. It happens.
Yeah.
Does it?
People, there's crazy people out here.
Yeah,
What?
a lot of times, bro.
So when it comes to policies, that's why, like when you get insurance, the beneficiaries, it has to be an insurable interest. Like, for example, my best friend, he got a policy through me, and then he tried to make me his beneficiary. And the insurance company, they came back and was like, what's the insurable interest? Do you guys have a property together? Like, are you guys have a business together? Like, why is he making you the beneficiary? Right? So I had to get taken off the policy because there is no insurable interest there. He just wanted to leave me some money in case something were to happen. But insurable interest means that if something were to happen to that person, will you lose anything? Or like, it has to be your mother. If it's your mom and you're the beneficiary, that's an insurable interest because that's your mom. Like, she might be helping you, taking care of you, paying for things of that nature. But if it's just your friend, it's like, okay, y'all could be trying to commit something. It's really not an insurable interest there. So, like, that's a red flag to insurance companies. So it has to be an insurable interest. Yeah.
Wow. How about, like, I know one of the things that people love about becoming a life insurance agent is you get residual income.
Yeah.
Is it month to month or year to year?
Absolutely. And that's another thing you want to take a look at if you're looking to become an agent is, do they have residuals? Because some companies, they don't have residuals. And what a residual is that you continue to get paid after that 12 months. Like, after you get that first advancement of the entire, 12 months that we calculated, right? After that first year, you will be able to get paid every single month as long as that policy holder continues to pay into their policy.
After the year is over, like the first year.
Yep. It's called renewals. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then one last question for me personally is, I found when I got introduced to that Primerica, like when I went to that office, she broke down something really, really good that I liked. I think you mentioned it. So this is where they build out lists on top of, like, you write down a name of 10 people, 30 people, whatever the case may be. And then you got a whole notebook full of names and numbers. And then out of that one person, you ask them for another 5. Out of that person, you ask them for another 5.
Yeah.
Out of that person, you ask them for another 5. And then it's like a kind of like a tree with like all the roots just spreading so deep.
Yes.
Is that like the business model on growing a life insurance business?
Yeah. So I absolutely love that. And when I first started out, like I mentioned, my warm market, I created a list of 30 of my closest friends and family members. Then I went out and did a presentation for them. And then for each person, I would ask for 5 to 10 referrals. And that grew my business so much to whereas now I have thousands and thousands of referrals and free leads. And some of them I couldn't even get back to because I was always like super booked and busy and just going from this person to this person. And then when you get really, really good, this is a tip for y'all agents, I got y'all, whatever, but when you get really, really good and you're sitting down with your client and let's say they gave you 10 referrals, right? You ask them, okay, you know what? Thank you for this list of 10. Out of these 10, who are the top 3 people that you closest to? Oh, I'm super close with Ashley, Bianca, Brandy. Those my homegirls. Oh, okay. So from my understanding, I understand that most people, they do not pick up the phone for answers, for numbers that they don't recognize. Would you agree? Yeah. So can I get you to do me a favor? Because I'm building out like my appointments for the week. Can you give them a call for me and let them know that I'm going to be calling them? So now they're picking up the phone. They're calling right now like, hey, I'm with my insurance agent, Brianna. She called. Do you got insurance? You don't got living benefits because so they trying to explain. Then you grab you ask to get the phone from them. It's like, hey, you know, I'm sitting here with such and such and she's super excited. What's your availability for the next tomorrow, the following day, where I can come out and go over the information or Zoom, however you want to get down. And now it's like, okay, they going off their credibility. Now you booking appointments, you getting appointments locked in, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to close them because they trust that person. They have like a close relationship, and that person just told them like, I got this policy and this is why you need to get it too.
I see how you can grow, especially if you're a dog in this. Like, I could see it. I see how... Because now this sounds like a business you don't even got to be on social media.
You don't. And that's the crazy part is I literally just got on social media and I make multiple 6 figures like doing this. And I literally just started talking on podcasts or really just putting it out there on social media. I don't have to be here. I never really, had to, when I say not here, but like on Instagram or Facebook ads or
dances.
None of it. You don't have to. It's cool though. Like you can so now I'm integrating it, but also because my story as well. And it's just like, all right, people got to know about this living benefit stuff, especially with me as an agent, only paying, $35 for $1 million policy and getting all this money. So it's like, okay, how can I get a broader reach, because my reach is cool, but it's like close friends and family members. I'm trying to go worldwide, get the story out there. Let's make it make sense and talk about stuff that people don't necessarily talk about or don't like to talk about it, because a lot of people feel like when you talk about death or life insurance, something is going to happen. Newsflash, we're not going to make it out of here alive. Everybody's going to die. So it's just like, what are we going to do about it? And life insurance is really a letter of love, a love letter. So it's like, how are you going to really show your family members or, your business partner, et cetera, that you love them? What are you going to do? All you got to do is set up something super simple. You do everything else. Y'all going out partying, kicking it, paying all this money into all these other things. Let's be responsible. Let's grow up and let's face life in reality for 2 seconds, and then we could put it behind us. Right.
No, this was a great conversation, and you you really even put the agent part into a different perspective, because a lot of times, like a couple weeks ago, somebody that I got on social media, I believe they got a job at State Farm. Maybe they do life insurance. And I just kind of was like, oh, hey, you know, what's up? Like, yo, what y'all got available? This and that, this and that. And it was just like, yo, come to the office, like every day. Like, I'm like, this sound too salesy. Like, it sound like
too forced.
Yeah, too forced. And then it seemed like they're just focused on their commission part of it. And when you can feel that as a buyer, it doesn't make you want to go. You're just like, nah.
Yeah.
But the way you just put so many things into perspective, it's like, damn, like you need life insurance like now. Like, so now I'm glad we had this conversation, because I know for sure it's gonna impact a lot of people. And yeah, like it's gonna save a life, like I said, bro. It's gonna save a life, bro.
Definitely is. I ain't gonna lie, this was amazing. And like I was telling Ayo earlier, I'm like, yo, I'm inspired by all our guests, bro. Like, seriously. Inspired by every single one of them. Everybody has a great story, and everybody breaks things down such in a phenomenal way that it's like, oh man, I see why you're winning and what you're doing, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, you got any final words, bro?
This was great, bro. This is gonna be one of the ones I'm gonna even replay myself. Play this to family members, like, because a lot of them they don't have this information. They still got their own thoughts on life insurance, and it's really hard to change. But I think after they see this, it's like, nah, ain't no way you're gonna look at it the same. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
Can't, bro.
Yeah, like that's a good point. Like showing your family, like if you can, everybody should be getting a policy on everybody in their family. Everybody. Like that should be like a family meeting. I talk about this all the time. Like, okay, you get a policy on me, I get a policy on you, everybody get a policy on each other, and then it's like when somebody passes, which somebody will, we don't got to cry twice. Cry from the loss of you and then the loss of potential income or whatever the case may be. Like we can be sad, but then we can also take that money and change some things within our family, like invest into things, like really, really pave the way for those behind us. And it's through life insurance that I saw a post, and it was like the fastest and easiest way for you to help your kids become millionaires is through life insurance. And it is. So having those conversations, if everybody is in a good place and can spend 20, 30, 40, whatever the case may be on each other, where everybody is insured and everybody is each other beneficiaries, just make it make sense.
Nah, this was a lot of game.
Do you mind if I ask you one more question before we close?
Go ahead, bro.
All right, so you mentioned the dime, right? And then you do all the evaluation, right? Mm-hmm. How about the death tax? Remember we talked about this with an accountant before, right?
Oh,
death taxes or something.
Yeah,
like that?
If the person owes money, like let's say like they got a leftover mortgage, things unpaid.
You gotta pay taxes on when you die or something.
Yeah, that. So that's another reason why life insurance is so important, and it's like you have it on your spouse, et cetera, because they still can come after you for the debt and the things that you do owe.
Depending on the amount.
Depending on the amount, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the exact. That's an accountant question, but they can come after you.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you could really, you could really leave your family with like a burden even after somebody dies. Like, so, that's crazy.
Well, I saw like some people can't even afford to die.
Damn.
It costs like 15,
can't
20.
Afford
you
to die,
cannot.
Can't afford to live.
You can't afford to die. Yes, caskets cost $15,000. Like some people just can't afford to die, and it's crazy. Like that's the craziest truth ever.
So what you gonna do with a person's body if you can't afford a casket, you can't afford to live? What they gonna do with you? You just leave you in a morgue and freeze you?
I don't know. I don't ever want to find out, and I won't ever find out because everybody is insured. So y'all make sure y'all family is insured. Make sure you insured. You don't want to find out that type of stuff. Like it gets crazy. Or you just gonna have to go into debt. Like Cause don't nobody got insurance, you know, like going to debt, or you gonna have to go to the breadwinner in the family. Now that person hate answering the phone for everybody because y'all not taking care of y'all responsibilities, and y'all, I told y'all to get insurance, and now I gotta empty out my bank account. Now I don't like none of y'all. Like, so yeah, it get real messy. It get real messy.
A lot of arguments and a lot of, you know,
unnecessary
start splitting,
confusion.
Yeah.
You know, after death.
And then just make sure if you got kids under the age of 18, like, don't just put your kids as the beneficiaries. You want to put somebody of age on there, because if something were to happen to you before they turn 18, it's going into a trust. They not going to be able to get the funds. Like, I had that happen to a client, like literally sitting down with the wife. The husband was upstairs. He ain't want to come down. She was like, he don't want to come down. I ain't putting him as a beneficiary. 3 weeks later, crazy. She passed away. She hit a gas line. Now he like, oh, what's up with the policy? Oh, you ain't come downstairs, so you ain't the beneficiary. It's just the kids, and you can't get the funds because now it's in a trust, and the kids is like under age 18. So, yeah, make sure you put somebody of age on as a beneficiary, and then once the kids become of age, then you can like take that person off. Yeah.
Damn. I ain't gonna lie, this it was too many gems in this one. Too many gems. And I'm actually glad we had this conversation. Like for real. Like, wow.
And I also offer complimentary estate planning too. Like, that's the beauty of being a broker too. Like, depending on what you get approved for, it comes with a will, a trust, attorneys that'll help you with this, streamline the process and make it super simple and easy. So I love that aspect as well, from as far as being a broker, being able to, you know, partner with Fortune 500 companies that offer this type of stuff. So beyond just life insurance.
Well, I ain't gonna ask no more questions.
Okay,
we're gonna keep it here. Outside of that, how can the people find you to be able to book a call with you and talk to you and your team?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. You can find me there. Brianna Kayla J on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can just hit the link in my bio. Beep. Get on my calendar, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you, audit your current policy if you have a policy, see if it's good for you, if you need to upgrade, if your policy is trash, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's how you can book a call with me, and it's totally free.
Yo, y'all better tap in. I mean, after this conversation, I feel like nobody's gonna look at life insurance the same, bro. Like,
it kind of almost scares me a little bit. You know?
Why are you scared?
Nah,
we know we gonna die, but we know we want to get to heaven, but we don't want to die. You know, like that's the part.
Nah.
Death is a part of life.
That's the unfortunate thing.
It ain't scary. It ain't.
But the thing is that it's in life. It's a lot of uncertainties, bro.
Yes.
So you feel me?
Uncertainty.
You gotta be protected in a way. So.
Yeah. So make sure y'all get y'all key man insurance too. Y'all too. Talk about
Wait, what's that?
Key man insurance business.
Okay,
y'all gotta work that out.
Right,
That's a conversation y'all need to have with each other for sure. So yeah.
Wow.
Thanks. This was a good one. This was an
amazing one. This was great. I like it. I enjoyed it. Any final remarks?
No. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Love
for
the
coming.
podcast. Love the conversation, the energy. And man, just see you at the top.
The bottom is too crowded.
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right, y'all. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Listen, man, this was amazing. So get on her calendar. I'm gonna definitely book a call with you.
Okay.
But I know you said New York is a little bit harder. But
interesting. It we'll talk off camera.
Yeah.
I was gonna spill some more stuff.
Yeah.
No, off camera.
Don't worry. But yeah, this is good. You want to close over right here?
This is good, bro. This was good. So definitely see you on the next one, and definitely tap in with Kayla, like, for sure, like 100%, because you need your policy now. Like now. Remember, you don't want to wait till tomorrow.
Oh, you learned. He took some notes. I love it.
Nah, it's really true though. But yeah, I learned a lot. But yeah, this was a good one. See you guys on the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you learned something, just drop a comment. We're gonna leave the link to book a call So yeah, just tap in, you guys, and do this for yourself, do this for your family, like make a change, you know. So yeah, bro.
Don't tell nobody. No, I'm joking. Just do it. Do it. Tell them you did it. And, all right, cool. You're going to live with it. You're going to benefit. Don't worry. It's the love letter, right? It's the love letter.
Come on, y'all.
This is one of the episodes we don't even know how to close.
Because it feels like you still got another question, bro.
Nah, let's call it a... Let's call it a night. Y'all. See you guys soon.
Facts.
Peace.
This is good.